chez ta maman n'est pas content. Les maringouins après manger me laissent le bon temps rouler. Mais j'ai trouvé...
Hey y'all, welcome back. Today's episode is deeply personal for me. We're going to explore how Roman Catholicism helped the Cajun people hold on to their culture, even as everything else around them changed. And I'm joined, as always, by my wife and co-host, Carrie.
Hi, everyone. So, this one's close to home, huh?
Definitely. My grandparents came from Southwest Louisiana, the heart of Cajun country, and settled here in Texas. I grew up hearing the stories, the music, and ate some delicious food. Even though we weren't super devout, Catholicism was still there. Rosaries in the truck, ashes on Ash Wednesday, novenas for sick relatives. It wasn't just religion, it was part of being Cajun.
Okay, so you're saying it wasn't about going to church every Sunday.
Not always. For Cajuns, especially in rural communities, Catholicism was about belonging. It gave structure and even a kind of resistance after they were exiled from Nova Scotia in the 1700s.
Okay, well, let's go back. What happened with that exile?
So, in 1755, British authorities in Nova Scotia kicked out about 11,500 French-speaking Catholics, the Acadians, because they refused to swear loyalty to the Protestant British crown. Families were torn apart, homes were burned, and thousands died in transit. Some were sent to the American colonies, some to France, and eventually, many ended up in the swamps and bayous of southern Louisiana.
So they were like refugees.
Exactly. And when they arrived in Louisiana, it was still under French and Spanish control, both Catholic nations. That gave the Acadians a chance to rebuild with their faith intact. Catholic parishes were often the first institutions in Cajun settlements.
Makes sense. But how did Catholicism help preserve their culture?
Well, it did two things. It kept the French language alive through mass and religious education, and it gave people a shared rhythm. Feast days, fasts, funerals, festivals. It was woven into daily life. Catholicism wasn't just a belief system, it was a lifestyle. And in isolated areas, it blended with folk practices, home blessings, healing rituals, invoking saints for help with crops or illness, what scholars call folk Catholicism.
Ooh, I love that term. So it was like official Catholicism with Cajun twist?
Totally. You had traiteurs, not traitors, traiteurs, who were traditional healers. They combined prayer with herbal remedies. You might hear someone say, "Go see Tante Marie. She can cure that rash with a prayer to Saint Roche." And actually, that reminds me of something from my childhood. When one of us grandkids had an earache, our grandfather, our papa, would have us sit in front of him or lie down with our head resting on his knees. Then he'd gently place a finger in each ear and whisper something faintly, like a prayer or maybe even a quiet rosary. I'm not sure which because it was in French. I don't know if it was meant to heal us or just distract us from the pain for a little while, but it always made us feel cared for. It was part ritual, part comfort, and 100% Cajun.
That's beautiful. It's like healing wasn't just about the medicine. It was about presence, tradition, and love.
Exactly. And that kind of ritual, handed down through generations, is what helped preserve not just health, but identity.
Okay, now what about Mardi Gras? That's just one big party, right?
Well, that's what it looks like on Bourbon Street. But in Cajun country, Mardi Gras had deep religious roots. The Courrier du Mardi Gras is a rural tradition where people dress in costume, ride horseback, go from house to house, collecting ingredients for a communal gumbo, all before the fasting season of Lent. And it ends with a mass. It's literally a celebration of abundance before sacrifice, just like the church calendar lays out.
So even the parties are part of the faith?
Yep. In Cajun country, faith is not separated from life. It is life. Music, food, healing, even hardship. Catholicism is the thread running through it all.
But you said earlier that your family wasn't super devout. What happened?
Well, starting in the early 1900s, the Louisiana public school system began punishing kids for speaking French. There was pressure to Americanize, and with that, Cajun identity and religious expression started to fade. By the 1970s, the number of Catholic clergy fluent in French had plummeted. Folk practices were dismissed as superstition, and some Cajuns felt the need to modernize. But the culture didn't disappear, it just went underground for a bit.
Well, is it still there?
Absolutely. Since the 1980s, there's been a huge revival. French immersion schools, cultural festivals, and even masses set in Cajun French again. The church has become a partner in helping Cajuns reconnect with their roots.
I love that. So, what do you want people to take away from all this?
That for Cajuns, Catholicism wasn't just a religion. It was a lifeline, something that helped a displaced people build a new identity in a new land. When your language is under attack, your customs are dismissed, and your people are scattered, the church becomes more than a place of worship. It becomes a safe harbor.
So, it's about memory too, right? Holding on to where you came from.
Exactly. Every Cajun prayer in French, every candle lit for a saint, every feast day celebrated with neighbors. It's a quiet act of resistance, a way of saying, we're still here, and we remember.
Wow, now I'm hungry for gumbo and some spiritual insight.
We can probably do both. But really, I hope this gives people a glimpse of how faith can be more than theology. It can be a vessel for survival. Catholicism helped the Cajuns preserve their language, their music, their healing traditions, and in doing so, helped shape an entire regional identity.
And your grandparents were a part of that.
They were. And so are we. Every time we share a story, make a roux, or remember, that's faith in action. Not just belief, but belonging.